And I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it funny?
Self-proclaimed anti-feminist Pearl Davis got absolutely blindsided live on television on Piers Morgan's show. So I'm going to get to a couple of clips here. I'm also going to showcase for you a few examples of just how ridiculous Pearl Davis is. This is someone that clearly spouts their opinion because they got famous this way. They get the clicks by saying things like women shouldn't vote. So I'll get to some of those examples later on. But this is the third time that Pearl has been on Piers Morgan's show. The first two times, they were softball interviews. This time, because Piers Morgan is first and foremost an entertainer above any idea that he's, a journalist in some way. Because he's an entertainer, he decided that this was maybe the most entertaining way to go. So you're going to see here, Pearl Davis is completely blindsided. I was not expecting to be grilled in this interview, but check out this first clip.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Pearl Davis is the self-styled anti-feminist influencer who's creating major buzz online with a contrarian view. She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored after all. We welcome any honestly held opinions. But this week, she's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled Why Can't We Talk About the Jews, which she dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
Why can't we talk about them without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying there was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
Well, Pearl joins me now, along with the New York author and founder of End Jew Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States. All right, Pearl, you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction. Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending involving you doing this song. And I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know, why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it funny? I mean, you know the backlash to it. I mean, you deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that? Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off of social media if you finish the song. It was more about, like, you can't talk about this topic.
Yes, of course. You can't talk about this topic, even though you did, and you deleted the clip. So we're going to get some more on that with the next clip when they bring on the other guest that goes on there to debate her. But this idea that, oh, you're being canceled. You want the ability to say whatever the hell you want without being criticized. Being criticized is not being canceled. It's being criticized for being a fucking moron. So that's a little different than, being canceled off the internet in some way. Now, Piers Morgan here. So actually, before I even get to Piers Morgan, the look on Pearl's face when this happened, when Piers Morgan first blindsided her, is just priceless. I want to play that clip again.
She dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
That look on Pearl's face, priceless. I could watch that clip on repeat. Now, I'm going to get to some examples of Pearl saying ridiculous things. This is all clearly a grift. It's clearly a grift. I mean, the way this stuff is written, this is not stuff she really believes. Even if she, the actual impact of it doesn't, whether or not she believes it or not doesn't matter, because it's the actual impact of what she's saying that matters. That said, this is all for clicks. It's very clear. And Piers Morgan isn't innocent in all this either. Again, this is the third time he's had her on. He has helped to raise her profile. He has helped to grow Pearl's audience. Only then now to turn on her in this third appearance because it benefits him in an entertainment sort of way. And also he doesn't want to seem like he's buddy-buddy with somebody who is now being openly, anti-Semitic. So that also is the angle here that he's taking. But again, Piers Morgan, not a journalist. He's an entertainer. But he did a good job here, entertaining. That's for sure. Now, here are some examples of Pearl's work. These are just some tweets here. Believe no women with 3 exclamation marks. This is why I'm telling you, this is a grift. Like, there's not much thought put into any of this. Women should not vote. Repeal the 19th. This one sort of gives away the grift. Women would not voting really affect your life that much. Almost 70% of our audience here are men. And these are the ones that are being honest about it. I bet you a lot of men answered this poll pretending they were women. But you see here who the actual audience is, who she's appealing to. Again, grift. She writes here, and by the way, these are all within the last 3 days. Like, I'm not looking for deep cuts here. This is all within the past 3 days. No, ladies, none of your jobs are that important. Society would probably be more efficient if we all left the workforce tomorrow. Outside of monetizing female beauty, men can pretty much do everything better than us. Like, come on. This is so ridiculous. Why women voting ruins society. Women voting ruins everything. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Men are better than women. Exclamation mark. Okay, we get it. These are... think of how little she has to work. Just think of what a normal thought is. Hey, equal rights is a correct thing, is a moral thing to believe. Just do the opposite of that as a woman, and all of a sudden you have a built-in fan base. And this is what a lot of these people do. It's, they go against the grain just for clicks, and at least them being on Piers Morgan's show 3 times. Let me get to the last clip here. This is going to be Brooke Goldstein, who's the guest on with Piers and Pearl. And this is somebody who is an expert in, hate speech in this area. And she does a pretty good job here, I think, going against Pearl.
What you pointed out is that we're really facing a crisis of societal conscience, where someone like Pearl, who engages in hate speech, and actually the irony is she's complaining about being canceled, and yet she's on your platform. She has millions of viewers on the internet and on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled. The crisis is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. And I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a lot of money. But I want to say one thing, Pearl will disappear. She will disappear like many others before her, because this is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. For example, you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it. But I want to make one more point. I think it's so important, especially on this platform. Hatred is taught. Nobody is born like this. And I talk about it a lot in my book about the dangers of hate education. And it's not something that we can debate, that we can engage in a rational argument with. You can see what her opinions are. She thinks women shouldn't vote, women shouldn't have the right to divorce. She thinks that women shouldn't be able to work.
If there's any question still about whether or not Pearl is doing this for clicks, just watch the end of that clip. The way that she's reacting there to hearing her opinions read back to her. It's all for attention. And as Brooke says there, the idea that Pearl's complaining about cancellation or people being canceled for saying controversial things when people like Pearl and others like her say terrible things and it only leads them to more subscribers, more views, more money, more attention. How are they being canceled? It's ridiculous. And if these platforms like a YouTube or a Twitter is gone, never mind Elon Musk, but a place like YouTube decides that, hey, I don't want this hate speech on there. We want to foster a community where people feel welcomed. Then good. Nothing wrong with that. You're still allowed to spout whatever garbage you want. It doesn't mean that every single platform wants you there. These places are allowed to develop, allowed to foster the kind of community that they want there. So if they don't want someone like you in their community, I think that's perfectly fine. Also worth noting there, Brooke's great point about how hatred is taught, and that, you know, allowing these things to fester and go out there uncriticized. And, you know, again, Pearl would consider a criticism to be cancellation, but to allow this kind of hate speech to be out there without being criticized would, of course, lead to more people believing that garbage. So it's all just, you know, a lot of grifting going on here between Piers Morgan and Pearl. But that said, this was a good moment to watch, because if someone like this is going to be on a show like this, at the very least, it's important that there is some pushback.